Welcome to Master AI Now with Dr. Fish.
Hello, I'm Dr. Fish, and today I'm going to talk about, oh man, this really has become my favorite tool, Gemini Notebook. Gemini Notebook. Now, I'm not going to talk about every aspect of it because I'm really a believer of self-discovery. Self-discovery goes a long way when you start playing with a tool. And, you can watch a ton of videos about it, but when you start playing with it, get your hands on it, get your eyes on it, you start learning more, just by playing. You discover some things that I couldn't possibly even mention all in one video. So, Gemini Notebook, if you just think back in the day, and I'm talking about individuals who are my age, okay? Obviously I'm not a spring chicken, as they say. I'm young. Yeah, right. I'm 63. And so in my day, as you know, in college, going back into my college days, we had to have or even when you were in high school, and some of you can relate to this, some of you who are younger, maybe. I had to have a notebook for each class. I didn't have one notebook that covered all my classes. That was just too much. I had to have a notebook per class, or whatever you want to call it, a spiral notebook for each class. And it pretty much is going to work the same way here in Gemini Notebook. In this case, it's an electronic notebook, okay, for whatever class. And I'm mainly narrowing this down to help students. Now, this can help anybody with any kind of whatever niche you're talking about, any kind of subject, but I'm going to narrow this down to help students. This thing is, in a nutshell, it could help you to understand your own notes, like your class notes, documents, and sources by answering questions. You can even ask and interact and ask it questions, and I'll show that to you. You can make summaries. You can create study materials from them, like a study guide. You can create your own custom study guide for you. Some people learn visually, some people learn by hearing, and then some people learn by hands-on. So this thing, it covers all three, and actually even more than that. So this is the front part of it, and I'll talk more about as far as the cost when I get towards the end. Trust me, you'll be fine. When I show you the cost, or the lack thereof for that matter, you'll be very happy. So at any rate, normally, when you open it up, once you finally log into it, you get to this front section, and oftentimes I would dare say it's going to show featured notebooks of other individuals. And these are obviously notebooks of individuals who are promoting their books, or ebooks in this case, that they have written, which is pretty cool. It's just so many different ways of using it. And if you want to look more into theirs and get some ideas from them, all you got to do is click on them and you'll see exactly what they did. And you can view all if you want to. But if you scroll down, if you notice down here, now I only have 3 that I put in here. I have, by the way, I mentioned this again at the end when I start talking about pricing, I have multiple accounts. I have one paid account, and then I have 3 or 4 free accounts. But the way you do it is you use different emails for those free accounts. And that means you'll have more on the free side and they give you enough on the free side, but I'll get to that in just a second. So these are just the recent ones that I put into this particular account, just these 3 here. And so what I want to do is just walk you through, show it to you first. Then I'm going to show you how to use it, get your hands on it. And then I'll explain pricing and give you a quick takeaway, some tips, things that you definitely need to remember as it relates to being a student. So let me just go into one of my notebooks. Like I said, you notice there are different subjects here. And I like to look at books of the Bible and study books of the Bible. But I'm going to click on this one here. And notice here, first of all, right here in the middle, you can put in up to 50 sources in here. So let me back up and let's move this out the way and come over here and talk to you about the sources. This is really the heartbeat of the whole thing. If you're an AI naysayer, if you're looking down there at the bottom where it says Gemini Notebook can be interacted, please double check your responses. And that is definitely true with I don't care what tool you're talking about. Now, especially, of course, with ChatGPT, even with Claude, which I think is better. Perplexity is another one. Perplexity takes all the models and it actually puts it all in one. So it captures ChatGPT, it captures Claude, and there's a whole bunch of other AI, machine tools out there that can gather data as well. But those tools are prone to hallucinating. They are prone to, basically error. They're prone to, adding some information in there that's not even true. And so, when you're working with AI, you got to understand, really, you need to be the subject matter expert of the subject that you're trying to investigate when you're using AI. And that way, if you're the subject matter expert, you can catch the mistakes that AI can make. AI is not perfect. It's powerful, but it's not perfect. So this particular tool stands out among all the other AI tools as far as working with information and trying to understand something, to have a deeper understanding, to give you some phenomenal ideas, some new insights, things that you never thought of. The thing about the information that it gives you is you control the information. So when you look down there and it says Gemini Notebook can be inaccurate, please double check its responses, which is true. Look at the information that you gave it. First of all, you have to give it valid sources. Now, yes, that's the sources on the left side. I'll show you how to add those in just a second. We'll get our hands on it, and I'm sure you can't wait. But that's the sources on the left side. And then on the right side, there's the studio. Now, as a student, I'm going to tell you, you're going to be using, if I were you, I would use audio, slide deck, and all slide deck is, let me go back to audio first. Audio is, you can create short videos based on the information that I gave it, like the sources over here on the left side. I can create short videos and it'll gather that information, put it in a quick short video and give me some, whatever, so a quick summary of this information. Brilliant, right? I can do podcasts. You can create a podcast and it sounds real. You'll get a show of it in just a second. A sample, I should say, in just a second. I can create, so let me click on that so you can see what I'm talking about. So I can go deep dive is, and I can, tell it, hey, I want it to be this long or I want it to be short. I could do a brief, get this out the way. I can critique, and I love this one. I can have it do a debate for me. Now, here's the thing. When I love doing deep dive, that's the podcast, of the audio. And I like for it to be long and to hear it's two individuals that we will be talking. Now, you can control this even more so by telling it, hey, this is what I want you to pull from. It's going to be based on, notice here, the sources that I want you to pull. Now, you can actually click on that and tell it, I don't want this source, or whatever, whatever the case. I don't even mess with that. I want all the sources, because that's another key to using Notebook LM. The more sources you give it, now you can only do up to 50. That's plenty. Trust me. Valid sources. The more sources you give it, the more accurate, or not necessarily accurate, the more it's going to help you better still as a student. And it's going to be accurate again because it's based on it's only pulling from the information you gave it. So good input, great output. That's what's happening here. All right. So that's the audio. Slide deck. That's kind of self-explanatory. I really don't even have to explain that one. If you want it to be short, or if you just want to leave it at default, you can have a detailed deck. And what is a deck? We're talking about like PowerPoint. but it's even better again, and it's based on these sources. So if you wanted it to create a PowerPoint presentation for you for a certain class, that, let's say you got an assignment that you have to do. I love this. This is a good, now listen to me. This is a good starting point. It's a good, whatever. It can give you, maybe the bare bones, or it may give you a phenomenal presentation. But if I were you as a student, you need to put your own fingerprints on this. Don't just let it just give you the information, and all you're doing is standing in front of the class and you just repeating what you see on the slide. You need to have some insights. You need to be able to elaborate on each one of those slides. Now right now I'm speaking as a professor. Okay. I am a professor. So I'm speaking as a professor. I never, if I want my students to do a presentation, they're not going to stand in front of a class and simply just repeat what was on the slide. You could have emailed me that. Okay. Seriously. You have to understand the information as far as the slide deck, and the way that you do that is you're going to use some of these other tools, especially the audio and the video, and then the other ones like the flashcards and other ways, so that you can demonstrate your knowledge and understanding of the slide decks. So it's a great tool. Like I said, it can give you a pretty good slide presentation. I've kind of played with it. It's pretty cool. Now, as far as, I think it can do some graphics. It's been a while since I kind of played with this, but play with it and see what it can give you, of course, based on these sources. And like I said, you can control it. You tell it what you are looking for. Okay. And then of course, you would hit generate. Now I'm going to close that. Video. This is another fun one. Love this one. You could tell it to do a cinematic video, explainer, or short. And then it'll try to give you some suggestions, with some of these tools over here on the right. So pay attention to some of these suggestions. But what I always like to do is describe and tell it exactly. Notice it couldn't pull up anything, but that's okay. I tell it exactly what I'm looking for, that I wanted to focus on in the video. Okay. I always try to give it an exact science. I'm looking for whatever, these 5 things. Can you explain those, elaborate on those, whatever. Okay. In layman terms or something like that. Okay. It doesn't have to be a long, it's like a prompt down here that you give it. I'm going to close that. So audio, video, slide deck, mind map. That's more of a visual thing. It doesn't show me. I don't think I have an example of a mind map, but you may or may not use that one. Now, this one right here, this is a creme de la creme. It doesn't get any better than this. After you've done the audio, like I said, I would do the audio, video, the reports. This is where you can, and really everything you're doing, you're building your own study guide in an electronic format. The reports, notice right there, dead center. When I open this, because I'm an educator, been in education for almost 25 years now, taught K through 12, now I'm in higher ed. Let me tell you something. When I saw that right there, and I'm sure when other teachers see this, and even students, if you know what a study guide is, hey, I got so excited. I was like, oh my God, this thing can create a study guide. Now, you can even do your own right here, create your own. And then, of course, you can even change the language, and that's even better. If you speak a different language, you can change your language, and then you can describe what you're looking for, or you can do a briefing doc. Now, you can change the briefing doc, like right there. You can come in here and do the same thing, similar to with the previous one. And you can come, I don't think you have to click right here. You can just click on it. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I totally forgot. Yeah, here we go. This is one of those, aha moments, right? Like I told you at the beginning, I'm glad that happened. I told you at the beginning of the video, play with it and see what happens, right? That's one time I missed that part. So I'm going to click on it again so you can see. So study guide, you have to click here. Yes. And then you come in and you tell it, hey, I want this. I want a quiz. I want X amount of whatever quiz questions, suggest this, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And again, this is always based on, again, the information that you give it. Now, these are the suggested things that it's trying to suggest, but I rarely, if ever, use the suggested ones. I always try to tell it, this is what I'm looking for. And if you are a student who does blogging, and by the way, again, you can still learn, you can create a blog post, which is so cool. It's really cool. All right. So you can create your own study guide. It can be based on audio, video, reports, flashcards. You know what flashcards are, right? You know exactly what flashcards are. You can create your own flashcards. You can make them easy. You can make them medium, difficult. Again, it's based on your sources. You can say more or fewer, or just leave it at standard, leave it at default. You can tell it once again, what to focus on. And it gives you some different tips down here of what you could focus on. All right. So quizzes, remember, can be in the study guide that's under the reports. So you can even create just a quiz if you wanted to do that. And you can create a visual infographic, just like the visual flashcards that you can, use to study, to go back over, to go through. One more thing about the video and the audio, you can actually listen to those because I've had students to tell me they listen to like the video or the audio that I've given to them while they're working out, or while they're running, or while they're whatever, they're out walking, or they're in the store, whatever. They're in the car. They listen to it. And then the data table, I'm not sure. You may or may not use that one. The data table will, again, pull from your sources, and it's going to create like it puts the data in an organized format. This is probably more so, not that it wouldn't benefit you as a student. You can try it, play with it once again, but I think it would probably benefit more so. I know without a doubt, I wish I had this tool when I was in grad school, especially going through my doctoral program. Oh God, I could have just done some serious damage in research. I mean, I'm talking about in a good way, as far as the themes that it could have pulled from the research that I did. I'm talking about the research I did. I ain't talking about relying on AI, because I will never tell you to do that. All right. So this is cool. Now, what I want to do is show you. So there's a study guide that I actually accidentally created, which is okay. I'm going to click on it so you can see it. And you can share this. You can copy it and put it in a Word doc, or you can export it to your Google Docs. You can export it to Sheets, or if you need to delete it. So if you notice, if you scroll through and look at it, so this is a short answer quiz, and then it gives you an answer key. That's cool, huh? And it keeps going. Essay questions, key terms as far as a glossary. Man, I'm telling you, this is a phenomenal product. All right. So I'm going to close that. And then this is the short video.
Proverbs calls the fear of the Lord the beginning
You hear that
of wisdom.
voice?
Think of it as God's practical textbook for the gritty realities of daily life.
Let me tell you
Imagine
something.
you're pressured to join a shady get-rich-quick
So you see the visuals?
To the untrained
so I can
eye,
sit
it just
and
looks
watch
like
that
an easy
all
win
day.
with no downsides. But how do you spot the
that is
inevitable
just crazy.
disaster before you're already caught in it?
And again, it's based on the information that you give it. Now, here is the podcast. Now, listen to this.
Experience, but the defining.
I'm gonna back it up at the beginning.
We're arguably the most informed society in the history of human civilization.
Oh, without a doubt.
Like, if you want to know the capital of literally any nation on Earth, or the exact distance to the moon, or I don't know, how to build a combustion engine from scratch,
Right.
You can just pull a piece of glass out of your pocket,
Right.
and you
So
have
you
the
hear that?
answer in about 4 seconds.
Yeah, it's unprecedented.
Right. But
So
yet,
it's two individuals. Of course, it's AI, but to me, this is AI on steroids. A lot of times when I've heard podcasts, a lot of times when you hear voices, AI voices, you could pick up very fast. It's nothing but AI. This is solid. This is phenomenal. I love it. And again, I could sit, which I've listened to it, different notebooks that I created in other accounts, listen to a podcast all day long and learn something, because what they do based on your information, once again, over here on the left-hand side, your sources, it's going to give you, it's only going to rely on information over here. Now, every now and then I'll hear like a little glitch, and that doesn't happen often, but I do want to let you know it does happen. And what I mean by glitch, I'm not talking about inaccurate information. I'm talking about a glitch as it may be maybe once during the podcast, they didn't finish pronouncing a word. I mean, goodness. And you have to really be, I don't know, maybe I'm not being nitpicky, but just wanted to let you know that does happen every now and then, but not often. Okay. So, but the podcast obviously is one of my favorite tools that you can create. Now, one of the reasons why it's my favorite, aside from listening and learning from it, it's the interactive mode. I can't do that right now because I'm already using my microphone. So if I try to click, see that little hand right there? If I tried to click on that hand, what it's going to do is it'll come up and it'll say, oh, we have someone who has a question for us. And then it'll let you know, you can ask your question. It's almost as if you're talking to somebody, although this is a machine. You're not talking to anybody. It's kind of weird, right? But you can interact and you can interject and you can say, well, what about this? And what about that? Can you explain this? Or elaborate a little bit more, and it will elaborate more. Once again, you ought to know. You know the drill is elaborating based on what information? The information you gave it in the sources over here on the left-hand side. So that brings me to the sources. How do you get sources in here? Well, I'm going to click on, you can either go and find a source like on the internet. Let's say you have a source on the book of Micah. And you notice it's a valid source. You would copy the source is one way of doing it. And you come back to here and you would paste it in here. And I really don't want to put it in here because it'll confuse my notebook because I don't want to have two different subjects in here. But if I did, I could paste it in and it will appear here. Now, every now and then, again, it doesn't happen often over here on the left-hand side. Actually, two things I want you to be aware of. Actually, let's go ahead and do that now. So what I'm going to do, I want to demonstrate it. I want you to see. So every now and then, so let's say I'm looking for Proverbs, I don't know, Chuck Swindoll. And it may not do it this time. Or I can do it here. It'd be better. Let me do it inside the notebook. And that way you can see. So Proverbs, Chuck Swindoll. Let's just do that. And so it's going online and it's searching. It's telling you researching websites and it's looking for everywhere, mostly. I want to use that word mostly, where Chuck Swindoll mentioned the study of Proverbs. Now, what you want to do is view. Notice it says 7 more sources because you can't see all of them. So I'm going to click on view and then I'm going to look. Now you want to check, like if it doesn't say, if I can't tell that this is a Chuck Swindoll video right here, it says Proverbs message. I don't know if that's Chuck Swindoll. So you want to know, is that Chuck Swindoll? Just click on that. It'll open up and you'll see. More than likely, in that case, it is. If I don't see IFL, Insight for Living, that icon, and I'm not sure what that icon means, again, you want to check it, click on it, open it up. In this case, I'm just going to exclude it. I unchecked it, and yeah, I'm not sure what that is. So you can take the time, and I'm not sure what that is. You can take the time and look at each one, because what I was going to say, I was hoping it would do it, but it didn't do it. Every now and then it'll try to pull in something that was said about, let's say in this case, Chuck Swindoll under Wikipedia. Exclude. You ought to know that by now as a student. Please do not use Wikipedia. It cannot be trusted. So I'm going to import and it'll bring it in. Now, sometimes if a source is not allowed, and it will happen, and I love this once again about Notebook LM. I love the fact that there's some sources that will not allow, very few sources that are protected sources that they may have a subscription somewhere on the site. Okay, it may have a lot of free information, but if it has some kind of subscription on that site, this will catch it and it will not allow it to come in. I mean, unfortunately, like, I can demonstrate another one, but I don't want to make the video too long. But just be aware of that. So you can upload physical sources. So if you notice when I click on add sources, you can bring in documents. From what I understand, I've never tested it. It will read your handwritten documents. Hopefully. Okay. I've never played with that part of it because I just don't have any handwritten documents. Everything I have is, if it's probably like a PDF doc, or it's a website, or it could be a Google, like a video. You can pull from your drive, all kind of information. Notice it says playbooks. Let me scroll down. Copied text. Yeah. So it's a lot that you can pull from. And like I said, you can bring in up to 50. Now you can only do, from what I have done so far, I only do like one source at a time. I don't know if you can do multiple, like grab a bunch of them, like you put like 2 or 3 websites in here. I don't know, maybe it can, but I've never tried that. I normally just do it one at a time, or I will manually just type it in and search and then let it bring it up. It'll populate, which is pretty cool. So it's a lot of different ways of doing it. And it tells you right here at the bottom how many sources you have. You can also ask a question right in here about the information, like what types of foods in Hebrew culture. What are 4 types of foods in Hebrew culture, which is pretty cool. Like if I clicked on that, I can interact with this information right in here, and it'll give me the answer. Once again, where's the answer coming from? Where's it coming from? It's coming from the information right over here. What you gave it. That is only what it's going to produce. Now, I'm still thinking about that question. It's gathering that information. It'll populate in a little bit. But anyway, I think I've covered pretty much all the bases. See, now it's coming in. See, it's giving you the 4 types of foods. That's pretty cool. But anyway, I love this, obviously, and you can even customize your background picture if you want to. You can customize it, however you want to. You can change the name up here if you need to. If you're ready to start a new book, remember only 1 subject per book. Right. So, if you want to go to a new notebook, you can create a new notebook right here in the middle. Let me move this out the way. Create notebook right here. You can share. I know I saw it. Yeah. You can share this notebook with other people. Now, here's the thing about sharing your notebook. Make sure when you share, and especially like if it was for an assignment for a class, this is where a lot of people miss the whole thing about sharing a notebook. You have to change restricted to anyone with a link. Okay. Otherwise, if I share this notebook with you right now, you can't see it. You have to change the setting first to anyone with the link, and then people can see the notebook, or you can copy the link and, send it to them. So it's just pretty cool. I love this. I don't know how many times I'm going to say that. Obviously, I love it. Yeah, I'm in love with it. You want to go back to where we started, you just click on the Gemini Notebook icon up there, scroll down. You see the notebooks that you've created. You can even create one, start a new one from here, from this screen. You can change the view, and we're almost done, I promise. You can change the view if you like that kind of view. I don't like that one. I like images. I'm sure you do too. All right. So here's the last thing that I had promised to share with you. All right. So the last thing I promised to share is this. If I can find a spot. Well, we'll just read it from left to right. Number 1, you should only use trusted sources. If you're a student, you're not really sure where to find this, good information. Ask your professor. Seriously, ask your professor. All right, so upload your own notes and, of course, approved materials. Use Notebook LM to prepare and review, not replace reading. You got to read. Okay. This doesn't mean this replaces reading a book. You got to read the book, whatever it is we want you to read in that book, a couple of chapters or 2 or 3 chapters, whatever it is, you got to read. Do not skip reading, because again, you can pick up on, you'll know where to find information, or you'll understand what kind of questions, like if you want to interact with the podcast, you'll understand what kind of questions to ask to dig a little bit deeper. Learn in different ways. I already told you about that at the beginning. You can listen, you can read, you can view, look at the mind maps, you can look at the infographic, flashcards, and practice with the quizzes. Upload clear materials, better sources. I already tell you, quality sources create better study tools, and then check the source. Use citations to confirm the answer matches the original material. Right. Now, here is the last piece. See, I knew y'all was waiting on this right here. That's why y'all still watching the video. Yeah. The level that most students are going to probably stay is going to be the free plan. And I don't blame you. To be honest, the standard plan, hey, it's all good, because now it says 100 notebooks. They didn't say that you can create up to 100. I didn't see that anywhere. I don't know if that's 100 notebooks per month. I'd have to go and research that. I'll find out. You can do, I already tell you, up to 50 sources. And you can do up to 50 chats a day. Like that middle window in the bottom, you can do up to 50 of those per day. But again, remember what I told you. If you got like 4 different personal emails, you got one school email and maybe 3 or 4 other personal emails, you can create a free plan times whatever, 4 or 5. You see what I'm saying? So in other words, use it in a smart way. That's using it to your advantage. Because to me, they're giving you a whole lot on the free level. The free level is more than enough. Now, if you need more, okay, hey, you can. But even look at the plus plan is $4.99. And so you see the rest of these plans. I'm on the pro plan because that's where I am. I'm a researcher. I am a professor. So yeah, I need all the room I can get, but I only have one pro plan, and then the rest of I think I got 4 or 5 other free plans that I just love this product so much. I can't really boast too much about it. So that's it as it relates to Notebook LM. And so if you have any questions for me, you can always reach out to me. Dr. Fish will provide my email for you. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can down below, and I will definitely answer that question for you. All right. So hopefully this was helpful. Yes, obviously Dr. Fish is in love with this product. This is the creme de la creme. It just doesn't get any better than this to me. All right. So if you have any questions, again, reach out to me. I am here for you. Chat with you soon.